All right, Jimmy Jam asks, Brandon, you are one smart cookie. Do you see a recession coming? So yes, I do. So in the car market, you can actually predict when a recession is coming, when a big downturn is coming, because you can look at repos. So repos are a huge indication that foreshadows a recession, because when people can't afford to make their car payments, they're likely not able to afford a lot of other things in their lives, which is just going to contribute to them not spending as much money on things, which means companies aren't going to make as much money, which means there are going to be layoffs, which means even less money in the system to be able to spend. So cars are usually the second, now the third, with everyone having a cell phone, thing that someone will pay for. So if we're starting to see these auto loan delinquencies tick up, if we're starting to see all our repo rates tick up, we're seeing more repos at the auctions. I've reported this on my channel so much. A lot of the guys who repo cars that I've talked to, a lot of these buy here, pay here dealers, they are saying right now that their repo rate is up twice as much as it usually is from prior years, even before the pandemic, because people got into these cars that they could not afford. They got into these monthly payments that are way too high, and their other expenses have gone up and they can't afford them. So they're losing their vehicles. So yes, I believe recession's on the way. I think the used car market is a good way to predict a recession, and what we're just seeing in is repos are going up. So yes, I think bad times are heading our way. Bill S. asked, Brandon, I have not seen such thoughtful preparation since the invasion of Normandy. That said, the American consumer is employed and continues to spend money like a drunk sailor. Do you have a plan B if that is the case? So real quick, for those of you who haven't watched, plan A is that right now I'm stocked up on cars. We have a lot going into tax time because we know that prices at auctions are going to spike. So we've been buying up for the last few months to load up for this time, and then now as the wholesale prices are going up, we are taking our foot off the gas. That's plan A. We're going to try to sell through all this stuff and then take a vacation from buying cars for about a month and a half, and let prices come back down. So what Bill's asking, what if that doesn't happen? What if I'm wrong? And what if prices just continue to increase on the wholesale side? Well, the backup plan is YouTube. So keep watching, subscribe. So in the case that prices continue to just go up and up and up and up, plan B would be that we move with the market. We would still have to go to the auction. We still have to pay outrageous prices. We would probably make less per car because I'm trying to give my customer a good deal relative to what the market is doing. I'm not going to like it because we'll still have to charge our customers more than what the car is worth. But if I want to continue to roll cars, if we have to continue to pay higher prices at the wholesale level, then we'll have to sell our cars for higher. I still am going to be cheaper than all the other dealers. I'm still going to give my customer a better deal relative to what the car market is doing. But it's just what a dealer has to do. If we want to stay in business, if we want to be able to keep rolling cars, we have to buy. And that's probably going to mean that we're going to go to a lot more auctions. It's probably going to mean that we make less per car. But at the end of the day, I want to do what's right by the customer. I still want to make money. And the best way to do that is just try to buy the best and cheapest cars we can. And it's getting harder and harder and harder. But I will say that I don't believe that's going to be the case, because these prices can't keep going up from here. Customers, consumers, the demand is just not there. I mean, I know that we've been seeing a lot more demand being pushed into the used car market, but even our customers on this lower end, they're getting tapped out. I'm having so many customers come in and just say, look, we can't afford it. I mean, we used to be able to buy $2,500 cars here, and now a lot of the stuff is $3,500 and we just can't do it. We've got $2,500, that's all we got. So these customers are getting tapped out. And unfortunately, what's going to end up happening if prices continue to raise or keep going higher and higher and higher, there's going to be a lot of dealers that are going to be kicked out of the market too. So that's going to really help some pressure on the other end. If that happens, I don't think it's going to happen, but if it does, there's going to be a breaking point, and a lot of these dealers are going to go under because they too cannot afford these higher prices. And if they are going to be buying these higher prices, they can't sell them. So I don't think that's going to be the case. But if we do have to have a plan B, it's going to be we just move with the market. All right, Jet44 asks, I see your prices have increased on your lot from the first walking video you published. Actually, our prices haven't increased. What's happened is that all the cheaper stuff, the $2,000, the $2,500, the $3,000 stuff, it all sells very quickly. So the stuff that's left is going to be the more expensive stuff. It's going to be the $4,000, the $4,500 stuff. And as tax time rolls through and we get this little bump of money, that's always the case. The first stuff that goes is going to be the cheaper stuff, and what's left for other customers to pick through is going to be the higher stuff. So you're not seeing prices increase on my lot. What you're seeing is all the cheap stuff, all our stuff's cheap, but the lower end stuff, the $2,000, $2,500, the $3,000 stuff, all that stuff's flying away. It's gone. So what's left is the stuff that is just the more expensive stuff that I keep. All right, Steve Bryan, I think that's right. It's with an E. I don't know. Is North Carolina far enough south that your vehicles are mostly rust free? So it depends on where you're at in North Carolina. Where I'm at in North Carolina is right in the middle. So all of our cars are rust-free. You can have a car that's 15 years old. If it stayed local to the middle of North Carolina, then you're not going to see any rust on that frame. It's going to look like a brand new frame 15 years later. So that's why I can buy higher mileage stuff and older stuff and it not just disintegrate or fall apart, is because we don't really have any salt that we have to deal with around here. We don't have any rust problems. Now, I go to some auctions that are about an hour away that's toward the mountains of North Carolina. And when I go to those auctions, there are dealers that come from the mountains to actually dump some of their cars at that auction. And I have to actually look at the frames on those cars because we do see a lot of rust at that particular auction. So it just depends on where you are as far as going to the mountains. And then on the other side, I've heard of guys that go to auctions that are closer to the beach in North Carolina, and they have to pay attention for rust on the frames. So it's all about location and what kind of weather you get, whether you're near an ocean, whether you're somewhere that's going to get a lot of snow. But if you're not in one of those locations like I am, which is center part of North Carolina, then I don't really have to worry about rust at all. There's a very rare occurrence that I'll see something that comes through one of our auctions and it's just completely eat up with rust. All right, Bob Hen asks, what does it indicate to bidders when the driver's side windshield wiper arm is extended? So what Bob is asking about is, I put out a lot of auction videos, and if you're watching when I'm walking through the auction lot, a lot of cars will have the windshield wiper blade up. So what that indicates to the lane manager, the person who is supposed to be getting these cars from the parking spots to the inside of the auction where they can be bidded on, is that indicates that this car needs some kind of attention. Most of the time, it means that the car just needs to be jumped off. It won't crank. But sometimes it'll mean that the car needs gas. It'll mean that maybe the doors are locked with the keys inside. But whatever it is, it just means that this car needs something before it can actually be driven through the lane. So the lot manager, the lane manager will have to fix something on it, have to put some gas in it, something like that before it can actually run. All right, US Uncle Sam asks, are your prices firm? Do you negotiate? So typically, no, we don't negotiate. We try to price our cars as cheaply as we can to be able to sell them quickly. Now, there will be some occurrences, and I'll give you a little advice when you go to negotiate with a used car dealer, that if there's an issue, some kind of minor concern or whatever, that we don't catch, and the customer will test drive the car and say, oh, it seems like it's got a little bit of wheel bearing noise, or one of the windows doesn't roll down or whatever. A lot of times if they find issues that we didn't catch and we didn't tell them beforehand because we just didn't know about it, then a lot of times we'll knock off a little bit of money so they can actually go fix the car. It's actually better for us because we would rather just sell them this car and they know exactly what's going on to it. They know how much it's going to fix because they can call their mechanic, or they went and got it checked out by their mechanic, and they'll get a quote on whatever the price is. And a lot of times we'll knock it off because that means we don't have to deal with it too, and they can take it to their mechanic and just get it dealt with, and we'll actually take off sometimes more money than what it would actually cost us to fix it, just so we don't have to put the time in to deal with the issue. Because Alex has got so many other things, Alex is my mechanic, other things to deal with, that I would actually pay more money to just sell the car to the customer, take some money off, and let them deal with it than having to pull him off another project to deal with the car. So the tip is, just when you're going to go look for a car and you want to negotiate, I don't care if the car is perfect. Find something that is wrong with the car and let that dealer know, let that individual know that you're buying the car from. Even if there's not something wrong with the car, I'm not saying lie about it, I'm saying find the next job that you're going to have to do. So you can have your mechanic look at the brakes and say, oh, these brakes are maybe 50% worn or whatever. So I know I'm going to have to do brakes in the next year, in the next 2 years, and it's going to cost me $150, $200 to get them done. Can you knock that off with a price just to make me feel like I'm getting a good deal? But I always try to find something wrong with the car that you're wanting to buy, because that gives you a little, it gives you a tool in the arsenal of negotiating and trying to get the car cheaper. And that's something that works against us when somebody's coming to buy a car from us, because we want them to have a good car and we want them to have money to be able to repair the car if there's something that's going on with it. So we try to do the right thing by our customer. We still want to give them a good price. We want them to have a good car, and that's an easy way for us to take money off of the car. But typically, if a customer comes in and just says, hey, I want this car, we knock $500 off, I'll take it right now, we'll say, no, our prices are firm. We try to price them as best we can. Coach to Win says, what's up with those paint jobs on those cars in the background? So a lot of times, if you're watching me walk my cars on my lot or walking the cars on the storage lot, you'll see that a lot of my cars have bad paint. That's my favorite kind of car to buy. Paint, cosmetic stuff like that does not affect how the car drives, and I can buy it cheaper and I can sell it to my customer cheaper. And we never fix paint issues, because I want to give that option to my customer too. If they just want to buy an ugly car and buy a really cheap car that runs great, they're going to buy that really ugly car that runs great. But it also gives the option of somebody to be able to buy the car cheaper and be able to paint it if they want to. I can tell you that my customers, I would say probably less than 5% are going to do any paint work to these cars. Because remember, the cars that I sell, they're $5,000 and under. People are looking for A to B, get to work, get the kids to school kind of cars. That's what I'm selling. I'm selling cars that people do not want to have payments on, and they do not like debt. So these people, a lot of times, they don't care about how the car looks. They care about the price, they care about the reliability, and they care about how the car runs right now. That's all. So I love buying cars that have bad paint, because that represents something great for my customer. It is a good car that looks ugly, that is cheap, that I can afford, that I don't have to have payments on, and I am financially in a better position because I bought this vehicle. All right, my wife had two for this one. Car Education says, I'm always hoping the word poopy is used in every vehicle. And Matt says, love your vids, but could you please say that instead of poopy? So Matt, no, I'm not going to say that. One, I have a 4-year-old and I want to be able to watch my videos with him in the room. Also, I know that other people that watch my videos have kids, and Matt, you must not be a parent, but parents don't get a lot of alone sit down and enjoy YouTube video time. A lot of times there's kids running around, so I want parents to be able to watch my videos while their little ones are running around and not learn a new word from Uncle Car Question Answered me. So I'm going to continue to use the word poopy. And I think it's a funny word, and I enjoy saying it, and my son thinks it's a funny word, so I am going to continue to say it. So no, you'll never hear a cuss word on my channel, because I want to make sure that parents feel comfortable watching my videos no matter who is around them at the time.